Katabazi. Once. Mumaso once. Yeah.
Are we good to go? Good morning, my colleagues from press. Good morning to those who are viewing us and those listening to us. Today, Monday, like we always do it, we bring you briefs on a number of issues pertaining security, and also give you pieces of advice where we feel you need to take caution, especially on matters of safety themselves as they come over. I have colleagues from UPDCL. You're welcome. Kiesa. I have Nira. You will be hearing from Claire. But I also needed to reintroduce my deputy, who is back on the track, Assistant Commissioner of Police Claire Navaka. That's why you see her here today. Claire, you are once again welcome after a long spell of disappearance. She has been going through the drills of a course at senior command. Find the repetition of certain mistakes or certain acts of negligence, and even some offenses being committed even after we have spoken about them. Now, like very active and very alert. So, whereas we talk and people take lessons, but there are some gullible people who need to be assisted. They are conned. Some are still using banks to bank money. Now you find a number of con men who take advantage of queues because they know people are in queues, and queues generally are inconveniencing. The con man around the bank will always take advantage. And that's why it is during such times that we call upon people to make use of electronic transactions. First and foremost, we encourage schools to connect their accounts to electronic transaction systems. Similarly, also with the banks, you can study your client base and tell whether you still have those people who come with the bank slips at the bank, whereas similar transactions could have been done on phone, so that we have an elimination of this middleman or in the name of a conman, or a conman in the name of a middleman. So those are some of the pieces of advice we give. Then the other one is the issue of guiding children to school, because as police, we always, in such moments, we register very many threats of kidnaps. People have been kidnapping kids for a number of reasons, ransom. There even at times you find marital conflicts, because these are very specific cases we have handled. You find a marital conflict, now occasionally a disappearance of a child. And during that time, the school is put in the spotlight, even when actually it is not a genuine kidnap. but a child ends up in the hands of one parent at the dissatisfaction of another, and then one of the parents chooses to put the school into a very, very ugly position. And these are some of the things which end up eating into the brand of the school. So we give you very quick advice which you should take. For instance, if a child is being dropped, there must be very good protocols on who drops and who picks. Because I think it was in the previous term, where as police we posted, we have been having those cases. One parent drops, then another one picks, but they are in conflict. Now, instead of them telling you of their conflict, the parent who believes is the one in sole custody of the child accuses the other one of kidnapping child, whereas the other one tells you, but I have rights over that. And then the whole thing becomes ugly. It drags in the school, it drags in police. I mean, it's just full of negative energy, whereas some of these things are avoidable. So we need very clear protocols between schools and parents on how children are dropped, how children are picked. Then the security of children when they are in school. I remember again one time I posted when a child who was in the hands of the school suddenly disappeared, and they took long to discover. But good enough, he was later discovered. We also have situations of chronic diseases where you find a child has a chronic disease, but it is not declared by the parents. So schools sometimes need to pick interest into the health of these children so that you end up in a situation where you are wrongly suspected to have undermined the health of a child. We also have incidents of students smuggling in dangerous items into the schools, so they need to be checked well. Those suitcases need to be inspected. Some come with illicit drugs, and in so doing, he ends up or she ends up recruiting other students into those bad habits of smoking and bad practices. They can also smuggle in dangerous weapons, especially these slightly grown-up children who are tending towards their late teens can shock everybody. So we don't take chances. We also need to talk about safety, especially fires. Yes, the previous term we registered slightly less, but previously we have had incidents of fires where you find either the fire is arising out of poor electronics connections, what you call wiring, poor wiring. As at times you find the students have leverage to do suicidal electric connections, boiling water, doing all sorts of things. So the school needs to up their game in terms of inspection. Then there are also other risks. You find the uncovered manholes in schools. Should that child get an accident and ends up with probably a broken limb, you will see the quarrels that will be generated by the parents. And even us as a security, we can pick one or two offenses there rotating around negligence. So we call upon school administrators to handle these matters. Then, of course, lastly, is the issue of conflict about the strikes. A strike essentially is a conflict between the students are trying to express discontent, but on most occasions, they are using the wrong method, because that method may involve the destruction of property, which property in turn they will need, and even the future generations will need. But usually, as a school, we advise that you start reading the red flags when these young citizens are beginning to change colors, because the signs are there. There are very few occasions when strikes are as a result of, spontaneous actions. No, they are a build-up of a conflict, which, when detected, can be de-escalated. So at times you call us, we can meet them, we can talk, and we de-escalate. Sometimes they have demands which are unrealistic, but it is advisable you listen to them. Because when you do not communicate with them, they will communicate with you in a language you may not like. So sometimes we call upon the administration to understand that, so that we mitigate those conflicts. That is all, and Ndugu Kanandra will give you more, think about traffic related issues. Secondly, I would like to comment about that matter, the Mutagas. That matter, I would like to give a clarification. Of course, there is an article which came out in the New Vision Friday last week, which made very strong pointers, which in my view were a bit extreme. I want to say that we have been making arrests. That's true, because we told you that this is a matter we are taking on and very closely trying to ensure that we close in the suspects. And it's an interagency operation. Everybody is doing whatever is possible to ensure that we bring these people to book. Now, along the way, we pick one or two individuals based on our intelligence, based on clues, based on some pointers. Now, we have picked some before. We take them through our sieve, and we release those whom we feel we do not have cogent evidence to pin them. Now, when you write and insinuate that it's a game down on the suspects, I need to come back and say, no, it is not yet. We are still searching for the actual suspects. We have not yet zeroed that very person to need, or the persons to need. And the search is on. You will recall we put a reward of 50 million shillings. In my brief from the director CID, he asked me to convey the message that the reward has been increased to 60 million shillings. So we request whoever has good leads to the arrest of a suspect or suspects in respect to the murder of the couple in Entebbe, the Mutagas, Mrs. and Mr. Mutaga. Please come out, share with us in confidence. We shall protect every information you want us to protect in the interest of your safety, but we shall also reward you in accordance with our promise. Thank you in respect to that. Finally, I would like to make I want to bring certain issues before us here and give a clear but concise statement and that is in respect to what you have been hearing from public, which they are always calling kidnap. There are arrests police has been conducting. First and foremost, you need to know that since police's inception in 1906, police has been carrying out arrests. It is within its mandate. When we come at the end of the year and give you an annual crime statistics, we tell you how many people we arrested, we tell you how many people we took to court, we also tell you those whom we did not proceed with. Now, if we were to go by what the politicians of NUP are insinuating, it would almost mean that every single person who goes through police custody is whether a politician says something and he means it, and the way they always want to accrue capital out of every small thing. There are persons within NUP who on a good day went and did, and we went and carried out an investigation as police. So far, a number of them have been arrested. And if I'm to be exact, the arrests so far has reached 10. Out of the 10, 9 have so far appeared in court. And I think one female will be also appearing in court very soon. These people were arrested, arraigned before court, so they were not kidnapped. And I've even been hearing it from here. So you find a journalist asking you, where are these people who were kidnapped? You can imagine. But the same journalist will cover a police function where we are telling people that we arrested so and such and such and such a number of people across the year. 3, every Ugandan is subject to this law. Even those who are not, the law speaks so. When you have immunity against the law should come out and say so. Now, some of the complainants are lawmakers. These laws are in our statute books. In this, if police wants you, it will come for you. If it asks you a question or two, please answer it. But one thing only we guarantee is that anybody who comes into contact with the police, 2 things, either shall be taken to court or shall be released. Because it is also not within our powers to perpetually hold anybody in custody. So we need to make this very, very clear. Do not dictate how police does its work. The dictates are already within the statute. I thank you. Thank you. Nja kuddamu byenjogedde mu Luzungu mbiddemu mu Luganda nti nga bwe mumanyi tugenda amasomero gatandise 3rd term. So tubadde tusaba abazadde nti n'amasomero n'abantu abalala bonna abalina obuvunaanyizibwa ku baana mugezeeko nnyo okugoberera poliisi engeri gye twadvisingamu ku bintu ebikwatagana ne okuddayo kw'abaana mu isomero. Ekisooka is